Alright, it's only me. I've just come on and talk about the recording I did yesterday, the Motörhead track, The Watcher, which for anybody that's remotely interested in Motörhead is probably the most important song that Lemmy ever wrote, being as it was one of the first songs he ever wrote for the band Hawkwind. And if you really study Motörhead, there's so much in this song that would just repeat throughout the entire history of the band. Just so many musical motifs and ideas. Plenty of songs in the Motörhead catalogue which are actually just basic rewrites of the song The Watcher, where I'm thinking about Nightmare, the Dreamtime for 1916 is probably the biggest culprit, but there are a few other ones in there. But again, when I was thinking about recording some songs to commemorate the 50th anniversary of Motörhead, The Watcher was always high on the list, but it was all about, am I going to be able to pull this off? Because people always sit there and it's like, well, Motörhead in it, they just thrash about on their guitars and make a lot of noise, and it's like, no, really. It's like, you can't really compare Motörhead with Rush, and it's like, well, you can't really, because they're both three-piece bands, and people think that Rush are doing stuff that is so much more intricate than Motörhead. But like anybody, if you're going out there and playing with a lot of distortion on your guitars and stuff, everything has to be played to a very high standard, or it really does just start sounding like a load of mush. And in order to be able to play really fast and really tight also requires a high degree of musical ability. So let's have a look through here, and we'll play through this on the tapes. Being as it is for 1977 Motörhead, I tried to keep it as basic as I could, so there's absolutely nothing on these 3 tracks here. I've got it all done on 5 tracks here. I've got a lead vocal, track 5, drums, track 4, track 3 is the bass, and track 1 and 2 is doubled up guitars, but with one's favoured slightly on the right channel because the bass is made on the left channel. It's just so everything's a bit more clear on here. So let's have a play through here, starting off with the famous bass intro by Lemmy. Also got a bit of ride cymbal in there just behind it. That's the 2 guitars here. I thought they'd keep the drums quite basic, because there's enough with the guitars and the bass in there, you can get away with just having a kind of straighter drum pattern just to keep everything a bit less cluttered. Guitar solo's doubled up there. See, it's trying to get the jammy quality as well that's on the original recording. It sounds like 3 guys actually playing in a studio somewhere at the same time, with eyebrows and stuff all happening, trying to guess what's going to happen next. It's a really hardcore bass in that, man. note for note, but I just picked out some fast Eddie Clark style stuff that I liked.
Screams in pain. There are no leaders you can blame.
Doing a coal mine.
Human greed destroys your sphere, and there's no room for you out here. You're on your own now. You're on your own now. You're on your own now. You're on your own now.
You've got this as well, you can map out exactly how many times the guitar solos and everything went round, because occasionally the Motörhead will stick like 5 times round instead of 4. That's a mad chords that Lenny plays on the bass, which I'll show you in a minute. So there you go, that was what was on the tapes where I was turning the guitars off, because I'm just going to talk about the guitars in a minute. But I mean, for anybody, my personal involvement with a Watcher, about on one of the first Motörhead albums I ever got, which was called What's Wordsworth, which was a kind of bootleg release that Motörhead recorded in 1978, and the kick-off song on it is The Watcher. I just thought it was a bit of a weird song, but also quite a fascinating song. So I mean, I've been playing that song on the guitar on and off. Yeah, I don't play it like every day or whatever, but I mean, it's just like I just want to go home and learn how to play these songs. So I mean, The Watcher's all based on about this kind of... But for the guitar part, you just come in at the start with just this chord on the A 4 times. Then you just hit the rhythm in along with the bass. And these things take you through the verses and stuff to various degrees. And then you get that first guitar solo which is keeping it round about the 7th fret. And I was trying to keep the guitar solos so that there's 3 guitar solos. The first one's kind of low, the second one's moving further up the fretboard, and then the last one you're right up the top of the fretboard kind of. So the first one just started off with the... You just go into this bit with us. 4 times. And 4 times of that. And then when you're getting into the second guitar solo just with this. Then the breaks again, and then the last solo was to go to answering the you're on your own now with this. Then you down to and then just a riff a couple of times with it. So let's have a play through it. This is was good fun, this one, and then we'll move on to the bass, which is a lot where the really difficult parts in this song come from. But let's do the guitar first. This is a Watcher. there you go, that's how you play the guitar part. We need to switch over now and do the bass. And this is when it starts getting really tricky. Because this song just totally driven by the bass. Wait, let's turn things back on here and turn things back off. Aye. So anyway, let's just find the right noise here. Aye. So, you're not a mile away from what the guitar's doing. But obviously Lemmy must have wrote this song on the bass. And it's all about this octave thing, just with that, between the A's and the A's and the G and the C in there with this. Cracking stuff, and then for the first guitar solo you just come in here, you're going between the A and the D. I mean, that's the thing about the arrangement of the Motörhead version, very different for the Hawk one. The Hawk one just basic 2 chords, ever, never, again, whereas he's beefed it up in here by changing things around a wee tiny bit. So the first guitar solo, what you're doing is just doing 2 and A and 2 and D for a minute, just with this. And then you've got this where you're doing this. Now you can come at that break bit, and then you're just moving up here and playing an A and a G barred chord here with this. Where I come from, no one smiles. And the games exist in my own. So relaxed and calm. Sitting here on the funny farm. Now you get into the second guitar solo, where the pattern you're going for here is an A, C, F and D, but played in the Lemmy style, which when you're playing the A is just the octaved A with the 7th fret and the open string. So you get that kind of noise. And then you get up and hitting a C, which is barred F and G string, D and G strings at the 5th fret. And then for an F, and then for a D, basically you're using this octaves again. Just get this. That one's 4 times. The last one's 5. And then back into the... So I think all the bits are there, but it's just sticking them all together. So let's have a play through here, the bass part, the Watcher. This could all go very wrong very easily. But here we go, the Watcher it is.
farm. Screams in pain. There are no leaders you can blame. Human greed destroys your sphere, and there's no room for you out here.
So there you go, that's how you play the song The Watcher. I recorded the hammer earlier on, which was quite ridiculously fast, but I'll come back on tomorrow and we'll talk about the hammer tomorrow. But it's been good fun this week when I've been on holiday, you know what I mean? When you've got your house back to yourself and your wains have all moved out, you get to do these things that you would quite like to do yourself. So it's been good fun this week. I've managed to get a Motörhead song done every day, which has been quite good fun. A good personal achievement. But thanks for watching, have a nice day, and keep listening to Motörhead.